I'm Bart Herbison, Executive Director of the Nashville Songwriters Association, with my friend, Hall of Fame songwriter Tony Arata. And this week, the story behind the song is the dance. But I remember the first time I ever heard you play it, and I was stunned. Tell me about the day you wrote it.
Jamie and I moved to Nashville in
Jamie's your wife.
Yes, yeah, my wife Jamie and I moved here in 1986 from Savannah, Georgia, and I wrote this. I had the melody for a long time, and was never really crazy about the words that I had. And matter of fact, if those lyrics had stuck, we wouldn't be having this conversation today. I'm pretty sure, Bart. But
what were they, by the way?
oh no. They'll find.
At least?
No, I'm not. I'm never going to say they'll find Jimmy Hoffa before they ever find those lyrics. I promise you. I went to see a movie right after we moved here called Peggy Sue Got Married, and there's a scene in the movie where
Like a time travel movie.
Yeah, Kathleen Turner goes back in time, but with the full knowledge of everything in her life of how it turned out, and Nick Cage is who she wound up marrying. But of course, when she goes back, she realizes how bad that all turned out. So this time, when Nick asks her to marry him, she says no, and there's a locket around her neck with her kids' pictures in it. And when she opens that locket, the pictures fade. And it just hit me so hard. We didn't even have children at the time, but it just hit me that you don't get to pick and choose your memories in life. I mean, you have to go with things as they play out. You don't get to alter them. Because if she had not married him, regardless of how bad it turned out, if she hadn't married him, she would not have had her children. So she had to do the whole ride. She didn't get pick and choose and get to do the parts she wanted to. And that just hit me, and I went home. And the next morning, I wrote that song, probably in the lyrics that are now what are known as the dance, in probably 30 minutes. I didn't realize at the time, because I wrote it in '86, and Garth's first album did not come out until 1989. I didn't even realize at the time how lucky I was to have had that song turned down for 3 years. Because
everybody turned it down.
I was turned down by the biggest and the best. And at the time, of course, it's hard to be rejected and be turned down, but in retrospect, it was the best thing that ever happened because, one, it wound up with someone who got it from the first time they heard it. When Garth first heard that song at the Bluebird Cafe, we were doing an early show, and he said, "Pal, if I ever get a record deal, I'm going to do that song." I'll always be proud that it wound up with a songwriter. That's what I'll always think of Garth. I mean, I've seen him in every capacity, but I'll always think of him as a songwriter first. And it also wound up being produced by one of the greatest songwriters in this town, Alan Reynolds, and with some of the greatest players. I mean, it all fell into place.
And I love the story about the day Garth Brooks called you to hear the record.
Oh, yeah.
Because they record a lot of songs more than go on the record.
Right. He came by with Ty England. They were riding around in Garth's truck, and he said, "I want you to come over and hear the album." And so I went over to Bob Doyle's office, and Garth played me the entire album. I knew there were 10 songs on it. And so I was counting them down as they went by. I went, all right, we're 7, all right, 8, okay, we're getting close. Something better happen here. And we got to number 10, and the song started. And I'll never forget, I went, I didn't make it. I didn't make the cut.
Because he was actually playing you number 10, which was your song.
But I didn't recognize it.
Because?
Well, number one, as I'll play here in just a second, I mean, mine was just a guitar vocal demo, and this thing started out with this ethereal piano in a minor key, and it was just, I went, whose song is that? I really like that. I'm sorry it's not mine, but I really like it. So there, I think, is the crux of the matter. There are not only great writers in this town, but there are great artists as well, and great producers and great musicians. And Garth took that song and made it his song.
Music marks the moments in our lives, and just this song certainly has touched people, Tony. And
oh well, and you just never know. You put them out there, and you never know where they're gonna wind up. One of the neatest things that's happened to me is I've been corresponding with a soldier who's been stationed over Afghanistan and Iraq, and I've never met him. I had never met him. We've been talking for the longest time. He found me through the internet on my website and wrote me about the dance and about other songs. And he says he's been a fan, and he writes lyrics, and so he'll send them to me, and I'll let him know what I think. And we've corresponded for the longest time. And I had never met him, and then one night at the Bluebird, I'm playing, and I feel this hand on my shoulder, and I turn around, and he says, "It's David," and it's my soldier friend who I've never met before, and I would have never met him had it not been for the song. And he handed me a medallion that he's carried with him throughout all his tours, and it now is very prominently displayed in my house. And I found a dear friend who has gone to bat for all of us for many years through this song.
This is for you, David. This week's story behind the song for the Nashville, Tennessean is one of the best ever written in any genre and any language. It's Tony Arata in The Dance.
Looking back on the memory of the dance we shared beneath the stars above, when for a moment all the world was right. How could I have known that you'd ever say goodbye? And now I'm glad I didn't know the way it all would end and the way it all would go. Our lives are better left to chance. I could have missed the pain, but I'd have had to miss the dance.